is Mohamed M.S. Ba, who is the Vice President of the Gambia Press Union. Good morning, Mr. Ba, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having me.
Thank you. Mr. Ba, as you know, the Access to Information Bill has been enacted by the parliamentarians yesterday, which, you know, it's in the mouth of everybody, and everybody was celebrating it, especially the journalists. How important is this bill?
Thank you very much. This bill is very important because we know the Gambia is now transitioning from an autocratic regime to a democratic dispensation. And democracy cannot be strengthened. It cannot thrive without, people having access to information. If you look at the Constitution, it has already created a base for citizens to access information. And accessing information is a right. It's a fundamental human right, even if you look at the Universal Declaration, Article 19, it has already stated, and even the African Charter. So how can we ensure that these rights are given to the people without infringement? We know that even the Gambia, during the colonial era, we have laws that impede access to information. And could you imagine those laws are still existing? So the Public Secret Act and the other, laws that are impeding people's right to public information. So you will see that what can we do to ensure that people access information is to come up with a robust legal framework that will protect the right to information. So that is why this bill is very important, though it took a lot of time.
2019 to 2020.
Since 2019, yeah. So probably I will end there. But the importance as well, the other aspect is it will help the citizens to access in public informations that are relevant to the lives and livelihood of people, not only journalists. It will also help the work of journalists as well as civil society, because now instead of the public officials relying on the bad laws, it will deter them from relying on the bad laws to say, okay, I'm using this law not to give you information.
Is it possible that they still can use those bad laws to deter people from accessing information? Like you said, these laws are already in our books. Is it will they use it still to deter people from accessing information? Because there are also laws, unless if they are repealed by the National Assembly.
Yeah, actually, in the law, that is the Access to Information Bill, it has an overriding effect. It has a clause that states...
That's a good point.
Yes, it has an overriding effect. Remember, this bill was a civil society-led, it's for the first time, initiated by the GPU and then led by the Civil Society Coalition on Access to Information, which the Gambia Bar Association is part of. We have legal experts, and then using other models, other African models. And then I can tell you, this is the best model that you can ever see in the African continent.
Wow.
Yeah, of course, because this bill is going to have a commission, establish a commission that will specifically overlooked or have, like being an implementing body to this bill specifically.
For that?
Yes, for that. We will have 5 commissioners.
Because
you might be even employ one of the commissioners probably. It might, yeah, of course. So it's important to note that. And then, it's like going to the overriding effect. It is there, a specific clause stating that this bill has an overriding effect on some of the laws that are not reasonable to a democratic society, some of the laws that will impede people accessing information. And it has penalties.
Those are the penalty. Okay, the penalty aspect, I am specifically interested in that, because now we live in a country, like you said, our history, the past is not so pleasant, and where access to information is very hard, and sometimes when you receive sensitive public information, like they always call it, a sensitive public information, you are jailed or arrested for it, or you are intimidated. But now the penalty aspect of it, what happens if a person requires a public information and it is not given to them?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it has a penalty, and each department will have an information officer who will facilitate that, but they are not answerable to to the ministry or department. They are answerable to the commission.
Okay.
So those are the ones.
Let's get this straight, because
it
is a very important point.
Yes.
Like, you know, already all the ministries have information com officers and all that. So you're saying that people will also have other information or communication officers who will not be answerable to the ministry.
Exactly.
To oversee this.
They will be answerable to the commission.
Interesting.
The commission is an independent autonomy body, who can be appointed by the president through the National Assembly, and they cannot be terminated. The president, if in the case of termination, the president will establish an inquiry, an independent inquiry, to do an investigation on the allegations of, if in case they said you are abusing office or whatever. The investigation will be mounted, which is an independent body that will mount an investigation, and that report should go to the National Assembly approved before the president can sack you. So you can see the rigorousness of that. So they will not be toothless bulldogs, and they can file cases through the high courts and the Supreme Court if necessary.
Okay.
Yes. So anyone who is found wanting, the penalty is minimum fine is 50,000 to 500,000, and then one year imprisonment or 6 months. So you can see, you will not. They can even do both. You can be fined and jailed at the same time. Yes. So obviously, and also it will enhance our public record keeping. Record keeping. Yes, I will come to that, because that's a very important point that you mentioned, record keeping, and that was lingering in my mind. Like record in this country, we don't have it. Even statistics of this country, sometimes it's very difficult for people to know how many people are even in this country, because others will tell you 2.4, 2.2. Others will tell you we are even less than 2. Yeah. So that is very difficult. But before then, let's talk about the issue of the com officers that will be, you know, hired by the commission. Okay, if anyone wants public information from a particular department, are you going to the communication officers hired by the ministry, or you will the com officers hired by the commission will give you that particular information? They are the ones that will facilitate. The commission now will facilitate all the processes, like through their communication officers. And those officers are also answerable to the commission. They have to report, like how many people have filed the information, to get the information, what are some of the challenges, do they have information and stuffs. So it is not the information officers who are directly answerable to the ministries or departments. These are communication officers who are directly answerable to the commission. So, and there are procedures, for instance, you know, and also there is for instance, if you need an information which is audio visual, or an information which is, you know, in text, and you need it in a hard copy, it's the commission that will determine the price of that information. For instance, you need it, it will cost government money, but obviously they will tell you, for instance, if you need 3 pages, they will say, okay, each page is dalasi or tala. So it's the information officer based on the attached to the information that if it incurs, because you are the one who needs it, if it incurs. And this applies to every citizen. It's not only journalists. For instance, so you want to know, anyone can access. Exactly. You want to know, for example, you want to know, okay, how much is the president spending on food based on the public money? For instance, I'm just giving an example. Probably there are more information that are, relevant to the public. For instance, or the COVID money. You want to know, you request a breakdown of the spending of the COVID money from the Ministry of Health, but through the information, through those communication officers who are answerable. So it is now the onus on the ministry to work within the timeline. For instance, I think the bill has a timeline, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. You cannot exceed that. If you exceed that timeline, you have to justify reasonably why are you denying that? But notwithstanding, there are informations that are called classified informations on public national security. For instance, if you want to ask information about how many arms do the Gambia Armed Forces have.
Those are sensitive
Exactly,
issues.
it's very sensitive.
That
so
should
those
be
are
clear, because sometimes other people can just request for classified information, which will put this country into.
So obviously those are informations that are restricted. Maybe cabinet meetings where they discuss very important and sensitive issues of national concern. You can request it, but in the case that the secretary tells you how sensitive that is, you cannot get that information.
But again, MS, we live in a country whereas, for instance, even workshop, for instance, agreements between two countries like the EU and the Gambia government sign an agreement on, for instance, fishing agreement. You get the information from the EU, not the Gambia government. They will tell you the information is a classified one.
Don't worry, those kind of informations are not classified information.
Informations like that, they will tell you no, there is no, because maybe there is a foul play.
No, that is why now the law is there. Agreement on behalf of the country, which could cost Gambia public funds, monies. Obviously, people are going to know it, so you will request it, and obviously you'll have it. If you don't, the commission will take its course, and then the charges are there. So I don't think people will definitely risk their lives, and it also has a component of whistleblower protection. That is, people who are in government who can give out relevant information that are detrimental. For instance, you're working and you see the decisions of your department is going to jeopardize the country's security. You know, obviously, someone is abusing office, doing corruption scandals. You can use this and then give out information.
And you will not be sacked.
No way. It's a whistleblower protection.
Super important.
It is very important, and it will also help the government, as I said, the record keeping. It also because you must keep the record.
Government institutions, even if you ask them the number of staff you have,
exactly,
my goodness, they will not even tell you.
And that is
how bad it is.
That's bad. A country cannot develop without a proper statistics, a proper recording, a proper record keeping. You know, because if you are funding something, it has to be on evidence base. Your need. How many people are here? What do they need? And then also who are serving the people, who is doing what? So I think all those things, and what kind of things that are they doing, what kind of projects, what are the financial implications? I think all those things should be kept, you know, and then now the bill is there. So what we are hoping is the president will not take time to assent to the bill, because after any enactment, it gives 30 days for the president to assent to the bill.
So, but will the president assent to the bill? Many people
no, even if you don't assent, the Parliament has the overriding power. Okay. What they do,
that's a good point.
Yeah, of course. This is check and balance.
People are like, okay, you know, maybe President Barrow will not assent to the bill, and if he did not assent to the bill, maybe the bill will go just die, just like the Constitution. So this is a point that needs to be
the Parliament has the power. The Parliament has the powers. The President is just to tell him. But in the case that he has some issues, he can comment and then put that, okay, these are the reasons that I will not assent to it. I want the Parliament to adjust it. The Parliament will look at it, and then if they deem it necessary, they adjust. If they deem it not, then they take it back to the President like that, and then he has to assent it within a given period, you know, a lesser date. Then if he did not, the Parliament can also move a motion to make the bill a law automatically.
So does that include, like, for instance, agreements or government information that happened maybe in 2016 or even in Jammeh's regime? Even if you want information about, can you still
information is information now. You know, government is an institution that still that is there. You know, the government is like an institution that works from regime to regime, but the governments never change. It stays. So any information you want, obviously, you can get it. You know, it has to be in the public space. So this will also help journalists, you know, to use this law you know, strengthen their work. And then make sure that
especially investigative
journalism.
Sometimes
so yeah,
it's very hard. You have a long chain from the cleaner up before you reach the boss is a problem. Maybe it will take you months.
And bureaucracy. So it will unnecessary bureaucracy will be squashed.
Bureaucracies. That is the point I want to go to. Like you want an information. For instance, there is a communication officer, or you want to interview them. You want to interview the minister directly, or have information from the minister directly. They will tell you maybe the pump secretary or maybe the public relation officer there. Those bureaucracies, does the bill remove all those things? Like you have to write a letter to the permanent secretary before you could actually get information from the ministry and all that?
Not actually. The unnecessary bureaucracies will be scrapped out, because you know that the government...
This bill is good too.
Yeah. it's very good. It's not even only... Even a citizen can say, hey, I want to know an information very important related to petrol, you know, on petroleum, you know, or how much government is spending on the extractive industry, or how much is government getting from fishing, how much government is getting from sand mining. You know, those are public information. And even public private information. Like for instance, if government contracts, like iAfrica is a private institution, but if government use public fund to contract iAfrica, then that information is public. Obviously, the transactions, the agreements
should be made public.
It should be made public. So this is definitely the onus lies on the media to sensitize people on the bill, the importance of the bill, what are some of the importance, how
so that
they
it
can
will not be seen
utilize.
As a media bill. The bill
no,
is
it's not a media bill. It's not a media bill.
So that is why the sensitization is very important.
That is why it is called access to information bill. It's called access to information
Anyone
bill.
can access information.
Exactly, public information.
Anyone.
Exactly. So I think, and it will also help enhance democracy. It will enhance democracy. It will help government to be more organized. You know, more organized in the sense that the records that they are keeping, because you will not be saying, we don't have information, we don't have this information. You obviously will organize yourself. Even the National Assembly can use this bill, can use the law, because it's a legal framework for everyone to ensure that they have anything they need
to conquer fake news.
Exactly.
Which is now, you know, social media now, it's the new media.
Exactly. So
which can just give any news and then people believe it.
So yeah, so this is the important aspect of it, and then there will be initially what they thought of, you know, commission will incur monies or whatever, and then they wanted it to be put under the Human Rights Commission, hence it is part of human rights. But later, the final bill, you know, we are going to obviously have a commission to ensure that this bill...
But how soon are we going to have that commission?
Yes.
And this bill is important to people.
Yeah, it's going to be soon. It cannot be automatic. You know, it cannot be. It is a progressive law that cannot be just automatic. So certain things, bureaucracy will be like scouting out the commissioners, following the rules, you know, making sure that it is just like the Human Rights Commission. You know, it was established before it settled and start its work, so it takes time a bit. So, but we're hoping that the political will be there, and then ensuring that they will not flout the laws. They will ensure that whatever is in the bill is implemented to the latter.
So what is there in the bill that is a disadvantage maybe? Or there is, because whatever in this world there are advantages and disadvantages. But this bill, like all the good things that is, do you think there is even a disadvantage in this bill?
No, not actually.
Maybe
I don't think there is a disadvantage. This bill is promoting open governance.
Democracy.
And then if you look at this constitution, it states sovereignty lies in the hands of the people from whom all organs of government derives their authority. So now if people give people power to exercise that power on their behalf, people should know. It's just like if you employ your Mindan and then you want to know what the Mindan is doing, the house help is doing. You know, if he is cooking good food, if he is going to the market rightly, if you're giving him or her the money to do things for you, you will obviously want to know whether your money values what he or she is doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. Open governance, this is why we need open, progressive governance, government who is accountable, or a government which is accountable to the people, a government which has nothing to hide. Because we cannot say we are a democratic dispensation, you know, and then people are not accessing information. That's obviously, you know, an irony. If you say, yeah, we are a democratic government, we've seen other countries, even at local level, they will publish all their financial statement online. Governments are doing it.
And it should, because National Assembly, during their scrutinization of the financial records and activity reports and financial statement of institutions, it's very difficult. And oftentimes, this institution will not be compliant according to what we see at the National Assembly. Yeah. So, but all these things will even help the institutions to, because now they know that anytime anyone can just come and knock on their door to require requiring for a particular information. I think they will. It will make them to up their game and then.
Yeah, I think we also have to thank the National Assembly. It's their job, but we have to thank them. And then the former minister Batambedu and the current Attorney General, you know, Mr. Jallo, they all did great, you know, and the government as a whole, and the civil society as well as the GPU, definitely, because the bill went through a painstaking process. You know, definitely. 2019, the bill, before even coming into Parliament, could you imagine? There are a lot of trainings that have been done, like the training of trainers, you know, going around the country, popularizing the bill. And then from there, the bill was validated. You know, there are certain things that were improved upon. You know, then the bill was taken to the government. Government gazetted the bill, you know, and then went through the process and then took it to the National Assembly. They also did some adjustment, took it to the National Assembly. The National Assembly tabled it for second to the committee stage. The committee also brought
rigorous process.
You know, committee also brought it, you know, and then it came, failed, came. It's not like failed, but we're supposed to table, scrutinize, you know, and then the bill was later scrutinized by the committee of the whole house, where they went through the clause by clause, and then later to the third reading, and now the enactment. So you can see this consultation is vigorous and is very democratic. It went through, it exhausted all the processes. It's not like a rubber stamp bill. So obviously, of course. So it's, and also, could you imagine when the bill came, everyone in the National Assembly, despite their political diversity, you've never seen people using their political lens like the other bill, because the National Assembly used their political lens.
I think that should be encouraged, MS.
Yes.
Like when it comes to national issues, people should treat issues with a sense of nationalism rather than politicizing what everything.
Exactly. Sometimes the National Assembly will, but in this case, could you imagine? The bill was so important, even people who are in the same party, from the same party, will have different opinion on the bill with regards to the clauses.
That is democracy at
That's
play.
democracy. So the bill, I think, is one of the bills that you can say has passed through the test of time. It's also going to pass through the test of time. It's also something that has been embraced by everyone, you know, despite our political differences.
People's bill.
Yes, this is the people's bill. So, but the media should definitely utilize it. They should engage the public so that the public can know the importance of this bill, and then let them use this bill to hold their leaders accountable, to be aware, even not only holding your leaders accountable. This will help even people to know their various facilities, what are the importance, also those facilities, how much they are getting from the people.
Yeah, and I think this is the time, MS, where even media houses can attach reporters to various ministries so that you can dig in the informations that are happening in various ministries so that people can get to know.
Very well. Very well. And also, the commissioners, despite their absolute power, they also are answerable to the National Assembly. So they will also come, and then there will be a check at the National Assembly whether they are serving the purpose, whether they are serving their purpose. And it also their term, they have a term limit. You cannot serve a term twice. Probably it could be renewable, and then there doesn't dead. You're gone. Other people are there. People with integrity, people with a very good track record. To ensure that you are not polarized. Yeah. So this bill is very important. Bill bi dafa am solo.
Torop si tënka rek si wolof nañ ko wolofale. You know, dafa important ne like low works English shape. It's very good ne just quickly you know, a recap of everything that really happened in the bill and the importance of the bill si wolof rek si tënka rek.
Wow, bi mooy li nga xamantene la dañ ko xaatim pour ñu def ko loi. So loi bi nag ci ñenenti at wala juróomi at ci gannaaw lañ ko isi. Waaye da nga gis ne National Assembly bi mooy suñ député yi léegi nangutoo nañ ko. Xam nga député yaa dee defar loi. So nangu nañ ko. Bill bi nag léegi bu fekkee ne isi nañ ko. Bu fekkee ne léegi lu des rek président bi signé ko. Moom fanweeri fan la am pour signer bill bii ni pour mu nekk loi. Bill bi nag lu tax mu am solo. mooy askan wi dinañ mun a am li nga xamante ne mooy information. mooy xibaar bi nga xamante ne moom lañ soxla pour xam ci nguur gi. ndaxte xam nañ ne nguur suñ kàddu lañ war a wéyee. suñ xaalis suñ alal mooy naamo yu ñoo fay ak lu ñoo leb pour ñun suñ tur ak mboolem li nga xamante ne xaalis la ci non tax revenue wala ci ay mboolem jumtuwaay wala yeneen affaire yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi ci réew mi ñu ngi koo jëfoo ci nit ñi. So am na solo pour ñu bàyyi ci xel. ndaxte nit ñi léegi dinañ mën a sukkandikoo ci lii pour mën a am ay xibaar mun ngaa dem nga laajte bugga naa xam COVID-19 coronavirus xaalis bi ñaata la te duñ hesitate pour jox la information boobu noonu. So da nga gis ne dafa dëgëral suñ démocratie. dafa dooleel askan wi pour ñu mun a xam nguur gi naka la ñoo doxalee suñ koom-koom. naka la ñoo doxalee bunta yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi liggéey ci nguur. naka lañ nekk di njëriñee askan wi. ndaxte askan wi dañ ko war a am suñu waree démocratie faaw nit ñi xam naka la nguur gi di doxalee askan wi ñoom seen elle bi ndaxte axala ak seen elle. so bil bi loolu la ñoo dooleel. so du journaliste lii du bili journaliste lii bili Gambia la. bili askan wi la.
loolu am na solo torop MS si leeral boobu noonu am na solo torop suñ mbokki wolof yi tamit ñu mun a xam lan moo nekk di xew fii. si loolu rek ñu xuus rek wax si leneen MS voter registration bi gis nañ ne 5th week of the voter registration process bi MS nag it's very important to know ne dafa part of the civil society coalition on elections. So moom tamit dafa part of it. He plays a very important role, not just the journalism cap but that cap too, which is very important. So ñu wax si loolu noonu fu mu nekk nii this is the 5th week of the voter registration process te gis nañ ne more than 700,000 Gambians then you register in this, and majority of them are women. Congratulations to us.
Yeah, wow. Yeah,
in Wolof, right? Wow, in Wolof now.
Okay, wow. Voter registration be am na solo. Comme cite on na constitution bi mooy kaddu nit ñi ak doole nit ñi ci nit ñi la soso. kaddu nguur gi ak doole nguur gi ci nit ñi la soso. Nga amaat lu ñoo section 26 mu ngi la jox political right. mooy boolem doomi réew war ngaa mun a bindu nga vote wala ñu votal la am nga loolu àqala ci yow. léegi doole boobu naka nga ko doxale xam nga doo mun a dem ci biti rek nga ne waa man dama am doole man dama bugg a sanse nguur xam nga loolu is not legitimate loolu nekkut luwa. So luwa bi ban doole lam la jox mooy nga dem nga register te Gambia luñ am mooy periodic registration yeneen réew yi luñ dee am mooy civil registration soo amee sa birth certificate soo amee sa ID card soo amee sa passeport mun ngaa vote waaye Gambia toolaguñ foofu noonu léegi luñ dee def mooy periodic registration te dafa am àpp suñ last registration bi 2011 lañ ko def mooy fukki at ci gannaaw waaye defoon nañ supplementary in 2016 te loolu is just supplementary for few days léegi am nañ chance tamit pour dem jëli suñ voters card yi waaye jigéen ñi moom ñoom ñoo dee saf si politique loolu du tey sax because even last registration bi téeméeri xaaj bi juróomi fukka ak ñeneenteeli xaaj bi yëpp jigéen la mooy 54%. doo loolu du dee commensurate ci li nga xamante ne mooy leadership position yi waaye jigéen yi soo demee xumbeel bi political parties yi suñ ku sampa political party nañ dem si yaay compagnie ndaxte xam nañ ne jigéen yi ñoo dee saf si politique jigéen su safut si politique kan mooy saf si politique so they use them for mass mobilization waaye jigéen yi dañ fulal li nga xamante ne mooy karta yi ñoo gën a fulal karta yi ndaxte tamit ñoo gën a bari si population bi so da ngaa gis ne mu ngi feeñ ci li nga xamante ne mooy karta yi so comme wax nga 720,000 bi almost 500,000 yëpp jigéen lañ just yu niiw mooy 200 and something thousand ñooy ay góor waaye ndaw yi nekkuñ jigéen loolu mooy problème bi ndaw yi te ndaw yi ñoo ëppa si population bi 64% of the population ñu ndaw lañ so waaye problème bi mooy da nga gis ne ndaw yi there are a lot of factors for instance political awareness amuñ ko da nga gis ne suñ education system bi si boppa dañ ko war a seetaat ñu segga ko ñu xool li nga xamante ne mooy civic awareness comme for instance kuy dem primary school léegi nii su fekkee ne suñ education system bi mu ngi dox numéro soo ko laajee lan mooy constitution bi dina la wax ne mooy suñ luwaa bi nga xamante ne mooy gën a mag muy doxal réew ak suñ doole suñ kàddu yëpp foofu la nekk
du mun a xam even one section of the constitution
exactly so foofu la moo dooree catch them before they grow so suñ education bi da ngaa gis ne moo tax ndaw yi duñ understand mag yi yàgga nañ fi def nañ politique jongante nañ xam nañ so secondly tamit ndaw yi ñoo dee dugga si tolof yu bari soo xoolee baaku yi ndaw lañ ñun dee jiiñ sàcca ndaw lañ ñun dee téye ndaw lañ ñu problème yi réew mi ak yooyu noonu waaye condition moo tax ñuy def loolu because one maybe amuñ système bi joxut leen liggéey wala créétalu leen environment boo xam ne dañoo am liggéey wala soo amee liggéey sax doo mun a njëriñ sa boppa you'll be underemployed.
Thank you.
dañ laa exploit
underemployment bi
soo da ngaa gis ne ndaw yi dañoo foog ne système bi daf leen beddi comme daf leen lii soo mer boobu moo dee tax ba ñu ne politique pour mag yi la te politiciens yi yëpp duñ dee wax dëgg soo da ngaa gis ne loolu daf dee nekk si ñoom grievance yi.
but sometimes sax da ngaa dégg gars yi di wax ne MS loo xam ne daal man su ma ko déggee rek suma fit bi daf dee lii comme suma appetite bi dama ko dee lose ñu ne la ne what is the importance of ma party si politics boo xam ne at the end of the day nguur bi su ko toogee du ma njëriñ dara
du ma njëriñ loolu naw wax bi correctut ndaxte mbooleem noo nekk di dundee sax nguur moo nekk di decide ndaxte for instance nit ñi soo vote nit ñi dinañ vote soo voté nit ñi dinañ vote nit ñi nga xamante ne vote nañ nag ñu bari si ñoom suñ tànnee nguur boo xamante ne nguur bi naka sudul noonu la ndaxte nguur bi mooy wax yow ban façon ngi lopitaan ngay am nguur gi mooy wax yow yan façon ngi tali ngay am nguur gi mooy wax sax yow sa dundin mooy lekka ak looy naan ak courant ban façon ngay dundee ndax di nga dunda life boo xamante ne dina nekk a dignified life dina nekk life boo xamante ne di nga am njëriñ yow sa boppa ak sa askan ak sa askan nguur gi ñoo dee decide loolu politicians yi ñoo dee ndaxte ñoo dee amee koom-koomi réew te vote nga votuloo di nga fay tax ndaxte soo jëndee minti yaa ngay fay tax soo jëndee sukur yaa ngay fay tax ndaxte luñ dee def mooy soo gisee minti bi nekk dalasi mais bi sax kële 5 butut la ko jëndee mooy businessman bi fu mu ko jëndee waaye because of tax buñ fa dee def kii businessman bi dina yokka tax bi ba pare na si yokka profitam bi pour moom tam mu am so da ngaa gis ne yow yaa ngi fay soo utee voters card birth certificate yaa ngi fay tax ndaxte da ngaa fay xaalis soo utee ID card passport ndaxte dinañ fa def tax soo yëngu ci dara so da ngaa gis ne ida vote nga votuloo yaa ngi jox nguur xaalis te xaalis boobu lañ dee jël di fay nguur président bi moom la ñoo jël ñu decide ban yan yoon la ñoo li soo votu tamit yaa ngi gën a sonal sa boppa soo faw nga jël sa carte foog naa ne moo gën yow tam nga xalaat si ñii ñu taxaw nii ndaxte marchandise la ñoo jaay mooy seen manifesto yi mooy seen marchandise kan mooy mun a safaral kan moo maa mun a safaral suma problème kan moo maa mun a safaral suma problème ñu ne la ne nga ne ok kii la nga déglu ko den foog naa time bi jeex na nga déglu ko so waaw waaye balaa loolu vote concert bi waaw bëgg naa ñu wax ci
am na solo
waaw
lan la miin
wow
way of calling on people to be registering more
rock the vote concert bi mooy ticket bi so luñ def mooy def nañ ay stratégie yu bari dem nañ ci télé dem nañ ci rajo yi ak yooyu noonu pour waxtaana askan wi dem nañ sax def nañ too man dem naa base dem naa place yi pour waxtaana askan wi pour ñu mun a dem ñu vote ba pare ñu wax leen team movement si naka la ñoo demee waaye ñu gis ne ndaw yi nekkuñ di génn so lan la ñoo def pour mun a isi ndaw yi moo tax luñ def mooy ñu ne ndaw yi bugga nañ football bugga nañ concert comme right now soo waxee attaque attaque xam nga dafa saf si jamono soo waxee ST the same thing Jizol ñoom Barham so noonu lañ def pour mun a attract ndaw yi so léegi ñu ne rock the vote concert so dañ ko def mu lefen dan da ngaa gis ne ëllëg lañ koo am ñu bari ñu ngi dem jëli seen voters card si because loolu moo laa jot ticket
man sa war na dinaa jëli suma bos tey
waaw soo ko jëliwu doo am ticket de so voters ñu bari fii sax jox naa leen ñu ngi amee ticket bi because ñu ngi amee voters card so da ngaa gis ne loolu pour ndaw yi ñëw da ngaa gis ne ñu bari buñ déggee announcement bi hey rock the vote xaaral ñu dem vote jëli suñ voters card pour rek ñu mun a am voters card so ëllëg la at the Serekunda West Park si la ñoo def suñ lii bi ñoom attaque nañ fa nekka Serekunda West Stadium ku ñëw ci ngoon soo amee ticket bi rek ñu jox ñu bàyyi la nga dugg waaw around 6 7 yooyu noonu ba waaw ba yàlla
try leen it's not still late mun nga am voters card
of course amal voters card du la di jël 10 minutes go and get your voters card and get a ticket you go and enjoy yourself
yourself and then come December 4th make your choice
you just vote loolu amal voters card bi rek mu gën a am njëriñ first keep the voters card and then suñ jongante bi su jotee ñu taxaw nga déglu leen ku nekk xam nga soo demee si marché suñ la jaayee daala foog nga xool daala bi ndax baax na foog nga check daala bi baax na so noonu lañ war a checkee politicians yi ku ñëw mu ne la lii ak lii ak lii ñu engage leen sax fan ngeen a jënee xaalis bi fan ngeen a lii issue of unemployment fan naka la ngeen a adressé yoon yu bon yi naka ngeen a adressé the issue of health you engage politicians ku la laaj sa carte wax ko ok lan ngay njëriñ askan wi si lii ak lii ba pare naka ngay jëlee xaalis bi so loolu it's very important
fan naa loolu sax dañ ko war a pour di introduce nit su la waxee ne dinaa la def lii naka nga koo defee ak fan ngay jëlee koom-koom bi am na solo waaye dañ la war dama laa defal lii te doo question naka lam koo amee loolu moo taxit na often times dañ dee am leaders whereas dañ dee ñëw rek promise rek at the end of the day duñ ñu fulfillal suñ promises because promise rek la ñoo def dinaa la defal yi kuy campagne daal dafa wax lu nekk with that Mohamed MS Ba time bi daal jàmm nañu we would have loved to talk on these issues more and then bring awareness creation on the voter registration, that access to information bit, but then unfortunately time bi jàmm nañu. Thank you so much for coming. And lastly rek jox ñu sa last card.
Waaw rock the vote concert dem leen ngeen jëli seen voters card yi ba pare soo leen ko amee ngeen keep ko ngeen denca ko and you know
secure ko
because so amee voters card tamit muy bu réer bala voting bi tamit is another thing. So let's keep it real.
Mohamed MS Ba, Vice President of the Gambia Press Union, the chief sub-editor of the Foroya newspaper, and of course human rights defender. Thank you so very much for honoring our invitation and coming on the Good Morning Africa program.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Mohamed MS